Welcome back to another episode of the Nick Claxton Fan Club. Been a long time since the last episode. We got Rocco, we got Ben, and then we got Marty. Uh, so before we get into any NBA business, it's been 2 weeks since we recorded.
A little more probably, honestly.
Definitely, actually,
When was the Brad Beal trade? Because it was right
we
after
our
that.
last episode was dropped June 23rd, and we recorded days before that.
Yeah, so we're here though.
We're here. Uh, I had to be on campus. Uh, then somebody was dying. Rocco.
mm.
I'm still dying. I still
Now
don't sound. That's alright.
to be fair, I had the flu before you. We just already weren't gonna record that week, so I
Yeah.
was chilling.
I had to go on campus for a few weeks, guys. It's fine. All right, now to the important stuff. Basketball. Oh shit, it's been like 2.5 weeks. All right. 2.5 weeks. Let's talk about the draft. Boom. We missed that. Pretty sure we uploaded on the day of the draft. I uploaded the video late, guys. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
So the draft.
the draft.
Yeah, I saw somebody placed a bet. It was like minus 30,000 odds that fucking Wemby was gonna get drafted first. Somebody bet 30 grand to make 500, and people were like, "Is it a good bet? Is it a good? Yeah, you made fucking easy $500 profit. Like it wasn't gonna not happen." But yeah, Wemby went first. Brandon Miller second. I guess that makes sense.
I know. I want to talk about this for a second. I want to talk about this for a second. Everybody said Scoot was gonna go second. Everybody kept saying that, and I was one of like four people I know. I think you said it too, Ben. That Scoot wasn't gonna go second.
Well, I think the opinion was that like Scoot was the second best player in the draft, but I think people were pretty certain that like out of like because both Charlotte and Portland are already kind of set at point guard, but I think uh, Portland's already shown a willingness to put a guy who plays point guard next to Dame, and they were already talking about moving Dame anyway, so they just seemed like the team more likely to go and get Scoot. Whereas Charlotte has nothing, absolutely nothing other than LaMelo. So you might as well build around the one piece that you already do have and get a wing to go alongside him.
Made more sense.
So it kind of just made sense if it was.
Yeah, I think also like Brandon Miller was the only one like arguable to go to, and then like once you draft him, you kind of have to go Scoot, even if you're like guard heavy.
Yeah.
Like there's a drop off after 3. But I think Scoot was like unanimously the second best player. Just it's a fit thing.
Yeah, it was all like honestly, I don't think anyone was like for sure this person's going here versus this person's going here. I think it was just like a toss up because it was like, are they going to go? Is the second team in the draft going to go for talent or are they going to go for fit? And it ended up being the fit pick.
Yeah.
So
I don't see why you don't go fit there. All right, so then Brandon Miller at 2, Scoot at 3. I like that. Amen Thompson at 4. The Thompson twins went back to back 4 and 5. How do we feel about that? I've heard many opinions.
I think the Rockets like had a great draft, and I think Amen is the right pick, and I think they're like virtually the same player. Like you can flip them.
yeah,
But also the Rockets getting Cam Whitmore at 20, like that's a big pickup.
Yeah,
like, I don't know how he fell that far.
Rockets do.
Yeah, that was huge. I think Cam Whitmore fell because of like some sort of health thing. I think there was some sort of concern with like the physical that they did for the teams, and that's why he fell. But yeah, I think the Rockets had a great draft. I mean, I also I really like the Thompson twins, even though they can't really shoot yet. I think they have the ability to like. I don't think their jump shot is ugly by any means. I think it's fine. It's just like a consistency thing. I think for them, and I think they should be able to figure that out eventually, whether it's this season or like a couple of seasons in the future. I think they'll have a solid shot at least. So I'm not really too worried about that. Then one of the biggest surprises of the draft for me was what's the name of Wembenyama's teammate? I can't remember. but he went
Koulibaly.
super early.
Oh,
Yeah, Koulibaly.
Yeah,
He
that's
went super early, and like I know that Wembenyama had been talking very highly of him for like weeks and weeks, and like just the whole time they'd been playing together, he was like, "This guy's legit." So I think that's part of the reason that he went so early.
Yeah.
But I was surprised to see them do that because I mean, realistically, if you look at the numbers he put up, it's nothing like out of this world where I would have expected him to be a top 10 pick. I, I was just very surprised when I saw that.
Yeah.
Also, if we want to talk about people falling in the draft, like we were talking about Cam Whitmore, I mean, what happened to Amani Bates? Because like when this draft class, you know how they do the draft classes that are like way, way far in the future. People were saying he was gonna go one like 4 years ago, and then like he went to Memphis,
4 years ago.
went to Eastern Michigan, struggled
A
there.
lot
Like,
happened.
how did he fall off? I don't know. I'm not
I think it was
educated
an
on
attitude thing.
the Amani Bates.
He was
There
like,
was a crime thing.
Oh,
I believe so. Among Bates.
That reaction's so good.
Crime.
Oh.
I didn't know that. I genuinely didn't.
He was
I
arrested
just
last
following
year.
along.
He was arrested last year for, what was it? Carrying concealed weapon?
Okay.
He's
arrested
also
on
just
gun
like
charge.
he's also just still like a very raw talent. Like there's a lot of stuff going on like in his actual game that needs a lot of work still. Like he just has a lot of potential, but I don't think it's like he hasn't proven enough to go super high. So
Yeah.
I think it makes sense that he was.
Again, that's a really like uneducated take on my part. I was just interested. Like I'm sitting with three people who know more about basketball than I do. I figured I'd just throw it out there.
Yeah, no, and to be fair, like I don't watch that much college ball, but like so like I don't know that much about most of the prospects coming in usually. So I just kind of say what I know, and like
Yeah.
if it's bad take, then it's like whatever. I don't really pay that much
Also,
attention to what's.
didn't Amari Bailey go somewhere in this draft?
Amari Bailey fell at 41. He was ahead of.
he's on the Hornets.
I love that pick. No, he's not on the Hawks. He's on the Hornets.
Oh, Hornets. Yeah, I said
I love that pick. And if you've been watching him in the summer league, which we'll get to also later, great ass pick. I like it. About the Amani Bates, yeah, part of his issue is that he's like skinny as shit. His frame, he's built like 80, but like skinnier, and then he's not the best defender.
And it's hard to get skinnier than KD, especially when KD was coming into the league.
Mm.
Didn't he like go to the draft combine and he couldn't do a single fucking bench press?
I think so.
I have a question. Is Victor Wembanyama not crazy skinny?
Well, he's
Like,
7'4",
huge.
so on a
Yeah,
scale.
Yeah, but that's still like he's still super skinny.
But he's
Like,
215.
And realistically, like fucking Imani Bates is not short. Like he's close to 7 feet. He's not quite that, obviously, but
That's all. I thought he was like 6'7".
6'10".
6'10".
No, but he's
I thought
6'10", 170.
Yeah, that's
So he's my weight.
hey, listen.
He's my weight.
either the equivalent of like my like body. weight.
What is Wembanyama weigh? I am curious about that.
I think he's not as light as people think. He's just 7'4".
He's like 210.
It's
You
just
know,
spread
it's
out.
tough to fill out a frame so that you don't look skinny when you're that big, but
Yeah, I think he's
I mean,
210.
unless you
210.
eat a shit ton of food, but
So 7'3.5", 210.
that's still really skinny. I mean, I don't know.
KD's 215. So I don't. Yeah. But 6'10", 170 is ridiculous.
Also, just real quick before we move on, it's kind of off topic, but we're talking about like tall people with weird frames, right? People have been talking about Jonathan Kuminga being 7'2". That's a bit, right? There's no way.
I don't think it's
No.
real. Yeah.
There's no way.
I mean, the source is Mosey Moody's.
Moda.
yeah,
Moda.
nah, but then, because
Moses
Moses Moody said he was
Mos-
7'4". I don't think I ever said his name like right on purpose. Like a Kendrick Perkins joke every time.
But yeah, Moses Moody said he was like 7 foot or like 6'11" or something. And then somebody asked Andre Iguodala about it, and he goes, "Nah, he's 7'2". I'm like, there's no way, bro. There's no fucking way Jonathan Kuminga grew like 8 inches in 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, if he did, then
Giannis grew like 2
goddamn.
inches, and that was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. what would Jonathan Kuminga's game look like at 7'2"? Because like at 6'7", it makes
God.
sense because he plays kind of like a skinny Zion. You know what I mean?
He's
Where he's just got
6'7",
that
like
like
230.
that crazy athleticism, good wing defender. But like at 7'2", it's hard to take that fucking bounce with you if you're 7'2". Like what?
Honestly, I would just see him as like a larger Bam Adebayo at that point.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, Kuminga's like a slightly better shooter than Adebayo, but like it's not by a lot. Like I would just realistically, he'd just be a center.
Yeah.
Bangs down low, absolutely yams on some people every once in a while.
Like Clint Capella style.
Yeah,
I'm like
I mean-
90% sure he's not that goddamn tall, but if he is, that would be so much fucking fun to watch.
that would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, imagine the standing dunks.
Oh
Dunking
my
over
God.
someone.
Oh, also, one more thing about the draft that it's not actually draft related, but I wanted to get out there. Shout out Kobe Buffkin for having the hardest fit there, in my opinion.
What about
His suit
Grady
was
Dick?
so fire.
What about Dick?
What about Grady?
No, fuck Grady Dick. That shit was so stupid. You know what the reason he wore what he wore, right?
Like a Wizard of Oz thing.
Yeah, because he's from Kansas, and so he fucking was like, "Oh, Ruby slipper," but like he could have just worn the red shoes, like. But
He put on
instead, he
some
goes
red.
with this dumbass, puffy-shouldered, skinny-waisted fucking suit that's bright red with like shining rhinestones and shit. It's
Yeah,
so
didn't he have, like, black
dumb.
pants too? Like, if you're gonna do that, you gotta go the whole way.
Slipper.
Look, guys, I'm the Ruby Slipper. I think he's gonna be an entertaining player, just like
Yeah.
off the court. We'll see how he is on the court. I'm sure he'll be fine, but like,
He'll fit in Toronto.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a good place for him to go.
Yeah, him and Drake will get along.
Imagery
Yeah.
bond.
Jesus.
Some other honorable mentions for picks. Jamie Jacquez Jr. went 18 to the Miami Heat.
I
He looks
think
good.
that's a really
He
good
looks
pick.
good.
Yeah, he does. He does look good. Pause. Chris Murray, twin brother of Keegan Murray, went 23 to Portland. Also a nice pick.
I think he'll be he'll be a real solid role player. So
That man is the left-handed version of Keegan Murray. It's so crazy.
Mhm.
That's it for the first round, really. Second round, James Nanaji, 31, Charlotte. I like that. After this, I don't know many people. I'm not gonna lie.
Jordan
Wait.
Walsh. Jordan Walsh.
Jordan Walsh.
Jordan Walsh.
Grit and grind. Let's go.
yeah,
Wait, so I'm confused about that. Did the Celtics pick him up, or did we trade pick? Like, what happened there?
we kept trading
back
down.
four
Traded
times,
for us.
and then we selected Jordan Walsh with the picks we traded back.
Okay, because it says Sacramento picked him up at 38. But I
We
don't
picked him at
know.
35, right?
No, we
they-
traded down a couple times and got like future picks
We traded 30
in the process. So it was, and that was the guy that Brad Stevens wanted anyway. So he just kept trading down. So it was like a masterclass from him, like a low key masterclass, because just picked up some picks on the way to get the guy he wanted anyway. So
Yeah, I do think he'll fit in because he's like he's like a really solid fundamental defender. He's got like a really good build for it. He's got long arms and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with him is that like his offensive game's kind of unrefined, and he struggles when he's not in transition. But like, I mean, you know, we can work on that. We have enough solid wings to be able to like fucking show him the ropes of how to get open, how to create your own shot, how to
Yeah. Celtics
Yeah,
did
and I
sign him to a
mean-
1 year or a one-way contract, so he's officially on the roster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and I mean-
dude, it's so refreshing to see a fucking Celtics pick not be stuck in the G League for the first like 2 years of their career.
I know.
yeah, I mean, but I would just like to say like I don't see that as like the biggest problem. I mean, his game being unrefined on the offensive end. I mean, because if you look at like Jaylen Brown when he came into the league,
Yeah.
like his like obviously Jordan Walsh is not the same like he may not have the same potential as Jaylen Brown, but like they had similar problems. Like Jaylen Brown was not a very gifted offensive player when he came into the league. We knew his defense was going to be really good, and he had the potential to be really good on the offensive end. And we worked on that. And obviously, there's shit that he needs to work on still, like dribbling with his goddamn left hand. However,
Don't get
he
me
is a
started.
much improved offensive player, and so I think we can definitely take a similar route with him.
Yeah.
And he should turn out to be a solid role player. I think
Yeah.
I don't see him really being like a star of any kind,
No.
but like a really at at his peak, I think he could possibly be like a really solid starter.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he like works his way into the rotation his rookie year.
I
Just
hope.
because of like a lot of the back of the bench guys are starting to like file out. Like we're trying to trade Brogdon. We already got rid of Grant Williams. We're probably gonna get rid of Peyton Pritchard. Also, I got some fucking Peyton Pritchard lore, but I'm not gonna get into that
Yeah, I
right
saw
now.
the video.
Oh
saw
my
the
That-
video.
goodness,
that's off camera. That's
that
off
was
camera.
crazy.
But no, but yeah, I think Jordan Walsh will like he'll be a rotational piece. I think out the gate, just because his defensive game is refined enough already to just
Yeah.
get right to it. But again, I think his offensive game. I think the realistic uh, expectation of Jordan Walsh is to be like the defender that he is right now, and then maybe like half Jalen Brown's numbers, and just if he can just be like a 13, 6, and 2 guy with really solid defense, like you can't get mad at that, especially for a pick coming out of the second
Yeah,
round.
no, that's a
Oh, yeah.
that would be great for any team.
Yeah, I think they want to flip him into a 3-and-D. Like make him because
Yeah.
he's very strong 3-and-D. I think they're gonna try to build off that. We signed him
Yeah.
for 4 years.
Did we really?
Gave him a team option and all that. 4 years, $8 million.
Damn.
I'll take that over like any of the shit the Celtics usually do with the draft. Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
we're so just like, all right, we drafted this guy, but we don't really have room in our rotation, so you can go play for the fucking main Celtics. It used to be the Red Claws, but fucking
Terrible
main
team
Celtics,
name
and
change.
just go rot away and not get really an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like the move.
Yeah. From the draft, now we can talk about free agency.
True.
Free
Oh,
agency
wait.
was an
Y'all wanna talk about the summer league first, because that kind of relates to the draft.
yeah.
Like there's not really too much to say. There's only been like a couple games.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
Yeah, we can slide over that
do
real quick.
What
So
about
let's talk about
Brandon
this.
Miller? 8 fouls.
Dude.
I don't even know. I didn't know there was a different.
Did they
foul
just
thing.
not have a?
No, there's no foul
I
out.
think it's 10. It's 10.
That's
One
crazy.
foul,
That's
that
It
was
is
literally
10.
like almost double.
Yeah,
Uh,
some guy got 10. I forget who, but
Yeah, some guy
That's
did foul out with
crazy.
10
they're
fouls.
like, finally someone fouled out.
That's
How do you get 10
insane.
fouls?
In a single game. Isn't it only
Yeah.
10-minute quarters too?
It is. It's 40-minute games.
Jesus.
God.
This man is in dire trouble
Bro.
when he gets to real games.
But yeah, Wemby had a weird, not good first summer league game. I mean, to be fair, it's the first game of the summer league.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But at the same time, 2 of 13, 1 of 6 from 3. Like, what do you think the issue was? Because I didn't personally get to catch the game. I just caught like the last 10 minutes of just now. I have it on in the background. But like, what?
From what I see, it was like
That
every time he got the
was-
ball, he was like unsure what to do with it. You know?
That
Like,
man
he
looked like a
script.
deer in headlights.
Yeah, like he airballed a couple threes or one. I saw one. It was really bad. But like he was like backing down Brandon Miller, and he just like gave it away. Brandon Miller just freaking slaps it. It's like he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's like a different, if it's like adjusting to the USA style of play, because I know it's different in Europe, but like he just looks out of place.
I
think-
think honestly a part of it could just be like sometimes it takes a little bit to adjust to like a new team around you. Like it took me years and years to adjust because growing up I started off as like a B team basketball player, and so once I finally like made the A team, like I took a couple years to really like figure out how to play with those guys because they played just so different from the team I was used to playing with. And so like I think it could just be an adjustment period where like he's learning where his teammates are going to be, the new system maybe throwing him off. Like you said, Marty, he's playing in a different league, so it's like it could be that there's different rules that he's just overthinking and like trying to remember. I think that overall, from the amount of this game I saw, I stopped watching after the first quarter because it was fucking Brick City. But there
That was so
were
funny.
some flashes. There were some flashes in that first quarter that I saw and I was like, okay, I see that Wemby has like a decent like basketball IQ because like he was like first of all he focused pretty heavily on the defensive end. I feel like, and like he made some good defensive plays when he was given the opportunity to, because most of the time whoever he was guarding was just passing away so that they didn't get shit on. But when he was on ball defending, he had a couple blocks, I think, and
Yeah, it's
like
5 blocks.
so like, and that's a lot considering they were trying to pass away from him. Um, but he had some good passes, like solid, like they were gassing him. The announcers were gassing the passes, but they were just like they were like good IQ passes, but not very hard passes to make. But I like to see that he's willing to distribute, which is what I think I got a lot of out of watching the first quarter. So I I'm glad to see that he's not just gonna be like, okay, I'm the star player now. I'm gonna take all the shots, because realistically, that style of basketball doesn't work for a lot of people.
Yeah. I'll say this. I enjoyed seeing us facilitating yesterday. I watched Wemby play. I watched the full game. I don't know why, but he's he's going for blocks and steals. He's not playing real defense. I will say part of the difference between uh, how they play in Europe and how they play here is the 3 second rule isn't a thing. So you can sit in the paint. In the Europe in the Euro League, because Lucas talked about this before, on defense you can sit in the paint. So the average center is just in the paint. So getting used to that and then getting used to that on offense definitely going to take some time to get used to. Um, I appreciate the fact that he was facilitating yesterday and we saw that he could facilitate the ball. That was great to see. That was great all around play. For the love of God, and I cannot stress this enough, the NBA commentators and the NBA in general needs to hop off his nuts. So help me
It was
God.
crazy.
Because besides his shooting performance, he had a pretty good game yesterday. However, for like first game, first American NBA game, buddies from France, whatever. The way that the commentary and that the NBA was on that man's nuts for 4 hours straight. But it was 4 p.m. when the first game started. I'm watching the game and they're already talking about Wemby. Bro, I was so mad. I heard Wemby more times than I heard the word basketball yesterday, I'm pretty sure. And I've never been
Yeah.
so aggravated in my life. Get off that man's nuts, because when he has not great performances, like when he has a performance like he did last night, he looks so much worse. I understand that he's 7'4". I understand that he's supposed to be this generational talent. He is 19 years old. Get off his nuts. Let the man play. Because the way they were talking, I expected him to drop 30 and 15.
He's barely an adult.
But he's barely an
Damn-
adult.
Damn near illegal. um, but yeah, I mean, also, like, I swear to God, the commentators, like, the Rockets, who are the Rockets playing? Fucking Trailblazers? The Rockets Blazers game. They had just come out of a timeout, like, for the last play of the game. Like, they were drawing up the play where Jabari Smith Jr. eventually hit a fucking buzzer beater 3 to win the game.
Crazy move.
And they come out of that timeout, and instantly they're talking about Wembenyama's waiting to take the floor. Like, dog, this is a 2-point game. They just came out of the timeout with like 0.5 seconds left, and you're talking about someone who's playing the next game. That's crazy.
Well, I lost my. I was in the Discord yesterday. I lost my shit. I lost it. I was pissed every time they brought up the Wemby, and I literally got to the point where I was like, "Yo, if I hear this name again, I'm leaving." And then I left.
Yeah, he did.
Bro, I can't with that. But yeah, great to see him play yesterday. It was great seeing him in a jersey. He's still getting accustomed. Even he said himself, like he's still trying to learn. He had no idea what he was doing out there. He's trying to learn. That's great. American ball's a lot different from EuroLeague ball. There are a lot of different things. Sorry, WNBA is on. Brandon Miller, 16 and 11. Yeah, not much to say. Not much to say for that. Oh, Julian Champagny is tough.
This is true.
He is tough. Sorry, the WNBA is on in the background. I can't. I gotta put this shit on mute. I gotta mute this shit.
Oh my god.
I can't listen to something worse than NBA commentaries. WNBA commentary. Jesus Christ.
No.
Oh, can we talk about ESPN firing somebody? This is some of the worst commentary I've ever heard in my damn life yesterday.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they fired so many actually like the people that you want to see on TV, and now it's just a bunch of fucking NPCs that no one knows.
And of the people they left,
doing all the work.
And of the people they left, it was Doris Burke.
I don't know.
Listen, say what you want about Jeff Van Gundy. Like he's a polarizing figure, and I think some people find his commentary annoying. But especially for the younger generation, having Jeff Van Gundy doing the color commentary is the equivalent of having the fucking Subway Surfers below the game to keep people entertained. It's entertaining as shit to just listen to him ramble about random things that had nothing to do with the game of basketball. But he always ties it back in somehow, and he makes
back in '86. I took my girlfriend here for a game.
I loved hearing him on the fucking broadcast, and now he's
gone.
I
do too. He's so entertaining to listen to, and it's a fucking shame that he's gone.
Did they keep Stan Van Gundy but fire Jeff? Is that what?
That's crazy. They're starting.
No,
did they keep Stan?
Wasn't Stan a coach somewhere, like an assistant?
No, I thought he was. Oh, is he back assistant? I remember
I thought he was coaching.
I want to say. I don't know.
I don't know.
What is he He
who
might
else
be
did
on
they get rid
Tom
of?
Thibodeau's coaching staff or something.
They also got rid of who? Jalen Rose.
Yeah. Which I don't care about Jalen Rose.
Stands with the team. I'm tripping. Stan's not on ESPN. Oh, my fault.
We're good. Yeah. Anyway, ESPN. What the fuck are you doing? Is I think the consensus here. But anyway,
Jalen Rose going too. Jalen Rose is on every NBA talk show you see.
Yeah. No, I know.
And to be fair,
he's not
it's not like he added that much, but
no,
he was there.
But he was on
and it's a name that you, and it's at least a name that you know. It's someone that was in the league. Kobe dropped 81 on him.
And the other thing is I think ESPN's their whole business model has been fucked for the past 10 years, where they always manage to focus on the wrong things, and they'll routinely get a good thing going by accident and then fuck it up some. One of the only things keeping ESPN in the limelight was the fact that whenever you watched the game on ESPN, you had Mike Breen, fucking what's his name, and the other guy, Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. You always had an entertaining trio to listen to. They all brought something different, and that's what kept people entertained. That's what drove ratings up. And they had that one good thing, and then the other thing was Max Kellerman also got fired. Max Kellerman has given us maybe 2 or 3 of the top 5 ESPN moments of the last decade, and he's just gone overnight. And he's not gonna be out of a job. It's Max fucking Kellerman. He's gonna go to some other network and drive their ratings up and ESPN's ratings down.
Yeah.
And they routinely just find a way to make a good thing by accident and then fuck it up for no reason. It's crazy.
Yeah, why did they get rid of Paul Pierce too?
I'll go to FS1. That's what they get.
Yeah.
Fired by ESPN.
Dude, if I pray to God
if he joins Undisputed,
I pray to God he replaces Skip Bayless.
Shannon Sharp's gone though.
Yeah. Well, no, they're gonna get I think Keontae Johnson. I think was the name.
Who? Keontae Johnson's the NBA player.
That's a basketball player.
That's the guy who just got drafted.
The Kansas State guy.
Keyshawn Johnson, a fucking former NFL wide receiver.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Keontae
realistically, ESPN's still gonna be fine because it's just every sport is on ESPN. You're gonna have to watch ESPN if you want to see certain shit. But it's just so frustrating as a fan when there's people you listen to and actually listening to while your sport is on, and they're just gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It sucks, but yeah. ESPN's dumb anyway, so whatever.
This is why I watch games on mute.
I think we should probably start talking about some of the free agency and trade news that's going on.
I will be right back. 1 second. I gotta go blow my nose.
Brother. All right. Anyway.
Oh yeah, my bad, guys. My package came. That's why I left.
I figure we should probably talk about the Porzingis and Marcus Smart and others trade. So what do we think for each of the teams that were involved?
I think we won the trade, but like as a Celtics fan, I'm like hurt, you know. Like we got two first rounds, and Porzingis.
I don't know.
I think
I
did we get two first rounds?
let's
Or wait, one
let's
was like a
look.
swap.
Here, I'll look it up.
But I think like undisputedly we won the trade, but like Boston Celtics fan, you know, you just love Marcus Smart. And seeing him go is just sitting at. It's like the end of like he's like the last player from that like Isaiah Thomas era Celtics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Jake
to
Crowder,
So
Avery
the
Bradley.
so the trade details are the Celtics received Kristaps, number 25 pick in the 2023 draft, which we ended up trading down. Um, then the 2024 first round pick, top four protected from the Warriors. So yeah, Kristaps and two firsts. The Grizzlies just get Marcus Smart, and then the Wizards got Tyus Jones, Gallinari, Mike Muscala, and the number 35 pick in the draft this year.
Yeah. Um, I don't like it. I don't. Uh, still sick, ladies and gentlemen. I am so sorry. Uh, but I think for whatever reason, it's become like a common take that Marcus Smart was like a locker room cancer, or like he was doing negative things for the locker room, and he was like incentivizing the players to fight against the coaches, and like and the thing is, he always was like the one to take the final shot, and he was always like trying to do too much for his role. Like he always thought he was better than he was, and everything. And like those are legitimate faults, and I get that.
Yeah.
However, we're not gonna get it twisted. Like Marcus Smart wasn't the fucking heart and soul of this Boston team. Like he was the one that fucking galvanized the unit and made it one for that run in 2020, 2022. Like he was the guy who did that. It was him, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, but it was Marcus Smart fucking leading those two because he's the older player, he's the older brother to that whole fucking team, and like there's so much that he brings to the game of basketball, especially for the Celtics team that lacks leadership in a lot of areas, and we've seen that on the court and off the court. Like he brings so much to this team that you can't quantify in just what he brings to the game of basketball. And to see him go for a guy like Kristaps, where Kristaps is a really, really solid player, and I don't mean to take that away from him. He gives you 23 and 9 a night, like really solid shooter for how big he is. He can like play in the paint kinda. But he's just not he's not going to be the heart and nobody's expecting him to be the heart and soul of the team. Nobody's expecting him to be a leader. And at the end of the day, he's also just not really what this team needed. Like we had a decent amount of floor spacing, especially when we were running like Al Horford at the 5, and I know he's getting older, but the way to go about that is not to replace him with like an oft injured 7'2" big who can't really rebound as well as he should for his size, who can't really defend as well as he should for his size, and who gets broken down if he plays the 5. Like he hasn't. I had it written down somewhere. I lost it. I don't know. But Kristaps hasn't played like 57 games in a season. Like he's done that once in the last like 7 years. And we already have injury problems and durability problems at the 4 and the 5, where Robert Williams is only going to give you like 40 games in the regular season, and he's going to be broken up in the playoffs. And Al Horford's like 37, so who knows what's going to happen with him? And we don't really have anybody behind those two. So we are, I don't know. It's like we're trying to solve a problem that we're trying to solve like the fourth problem on our list. We're like, oh, we should get a 4 that can shoot. Where like we still have the bigger problems of we need somebody who can defend in the paint against like a Bam Adebayo or a Nikola Jokic or a Joel Embiid. We need somebody who can like help lead this team and facilitate, which is what Marcus Smart was doing, but now we don't have that anymore. We still have Derek White, but he's never been a really great facilitator. He's never given you more than like 6 assists a game. Like I don't know. There were a few solid, obvious problems with the Celtics team, and we didn't solve any of them by getting Kristaps. That's my thing. Like, he's a solid player. He's just not what we need right now.
I disagree personally.
I
think
I disagree as well.
I agree that Marcus Smart, like, it hurts to see him go and that he was the heart and soul of that team. However, I think that the fact that he was the heart and soul of the team may be holding our stars back because they need to learn to be the leader that they should be. And so I think with Marcus gone, this can be a good period for them to grow and learn how to be the leader that they need to be. And I think with the example that Marcus set for them, they have like a pathway to become that. And that will just improve their game vastly because they'll be able to know what's right and when to do what more. Like they'll have the last say in like what should be happening at the end of a game. Like they can be the ones to take the last shot rather than Marcus Smart, though a very good player on the defensive end. He's so streaky on the offensive end, and somehow he always ends up with our last shot. Like I know you brought that up, and like you admitted like that is a big flaw of his game, but like I think the difference is Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. One of them needs to step up to be that leader. And so I think moving Marcus away helps them to have the opportunity to do that. And in that, for trading away only, we traded Marcus Smart, Gallinari, Mike Muscala, and our 35th overall pick to get back another 20-plus point per game scorer. And also, your comment about Kristaps Porzingis' defense, believe it or not, he's actually like one of the better rim protectors in the league. So earlier on in his career, he was not as strong on the defensive end, but he has improved and has become one of the best protectors at the rim. Now, obviously, if he's out on the perimeter, things may not go too well, but we're also going to do our best to avoid any of the weaknesses that we have, such as that. So I think bringing in Porzingis is, again, like we have someone that we know can fill that role of Al Horford if Al Horford is no longer what he once was. And I think it's also just like Kristaps Porzingis is that kind of guy for me that like as a third option on a team, I think that team has a extremely high ceiling, like multiple championships if it stays together. And so I see this as a positive move for the Celtics. I don't think it's like a huge improvement, but I definitely see it as an improvement because one, we have the ability for our guys to become the leader, and two, we're adding another great scorer and solid rim defender.
Yeah. For sure. I also see it as a good move. Now, am I upset that we let Marcus go? Yes. I was originally upset. Marcus was the heart and soul of the Celtics for 9 years. We appreciated everything he did for us. I would have loved to see him get a title with us. When you think about it in a long-term stance, with the team we have now, we saw last season, and a little bit in the playoffs, we saw Tatum play a lot of the four. When we see Tatum play at the four, he's a lot less durable because he sometimes has to bang down low more. It's creating the fact where he's going to get injured more and he ends up playing less games. We are also in a situation where Al Horford is very old. He's going to retire soon. He can't play the five because it's too much banging for him. In the ideal situation, what the Celtics did picking up Porzingis, I really like. Because it's going to help out Rob, as we have another person who can get 8 rebounds a game, 8-9 rebounds a game at the 4. This allows Tatum to shift to the 3. This allows Brown to go back down to the 2. They're going to be able to get banged around less. They're going to be able to play more games. In terms of what we had to give up being Marcus, I'd prefer to have Derek White as a starter. And when we were originally going to trade Malcolm Brogdon, I don't see Marcus coming off the bench. And I see that being a problem. I don't see Marcus coming off the bench. I
I
see
mean, he
Brogdon
hasn't
coming off the
passed.
bench.
I wouldn't honestly. I wouldn't put it past Marcus. Like I do think he would come off the bench if he needed to.
Not as efficiently
Just
as Malcolm Brogdon, though. Malcolm Brogdon
maybe
just coming
not.
off as Sixth Man of the Year. We have Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon, who are both great defenders. Derek White, number one in blocks at the guard, the best guard defender, arguably this year or last year. I don't mind what we gave up, considering the fact that we were going to give up Malcolm Brogdon. I prefer that we gave up Marcus Smart low key. It
I've been
allows.
saying that.
I prefer it.
I don't know.
I prefer it.
know.
For months, I was saying that.
Malcolm
Also
Brogdon's ability to
hurts.
come off the bench. It hurts to say, but Malcolm Brogdon's ability to come off the bench, because we know Derek White is capable of starting. But the way the lineup would have worked if we kept Marcus would have been Marcus at the 1, Derek at the 2, Jalen at the 3. Like, it would have been a weird lineup. Versus now, Derek's going to be at the 1, Jalen's at the 2, Tatum's at the 3, KP at the 4, Rob Williams at the 5. If Rob Williams is out, it's going to be KP at the 5 and Al at the 4. I don't mind it. I don't fully mind it. In terms of his ability to play the game, last season he was able to produce 65 games, started all 65, and he was putting up really good numbers for the Wizards. 23, 8, almost 9 boards, a steal, 2 blocks. I don't mind that.
Yeah. I think you can't argue with the value. But I also think, like, with Porzingis and Rob, if they're both healthy starting, like, we have the best, like, rim protecting front court in the league. And that's, like, that's a big up, you know, on this team. And
It's
I think
up there.
I would have been more mad if we gave up Marcus, like, a couple years ago. But now that we have Brogdon and Derek White, it's like we have guys that can kind of fill his role.
Yeah.
Or maybe even fill it better at this point.
Yeah.
Also,
I love Marcus.
I would argue that Marcus Smart was coming off like a down year. Like, he wasn't bad, but he was definitely having a down year last year compared to the year before. And I think that I don't know how much longer Marcus Smart is going to be as valuable numbers wise. Like, obviously he doesn't give you that much numbers wise anyway, but like, I think the value in that area is going to decrease significantly in the next couple years. So and like, obviously being the leader he is, I think that's very valuable in its own right, and he'll still be a valuable asset to have on a team. But I don't think that he's going to be, honestly, in the next few years, I don't see him still starting at any point. Like, in Memphis, obviously, he's going to be coming off the bench because there's no way they can start Ja, Desmond Bane, and Marcus Smart, because Desmond Bane's only 6'5", and he has a tiny wingspan. He has my wingspan. I'm 6'5". We're both built with short-ass arms. It's not going to happen. He can't play the 3. So, and like, obviously, Marcus Smart, we've seen guard people of any position, but you don't want Marcus Smart as your full-time 3.
You don't.
So realistically, Marcus Smart's going to be coming off the bench, and I don't see him ever becoming really a starter again in his career. And so I think we got a lot of value for what we gave up.
Okay. I don't know. I think I've been swayed a little bit because I didn't realize that Kristaps was putting up, like, I didn't realize that he was the defender that you guys say he is. I'm going to do my own research on my own time, see what I think about Kristaps as a post defender. But I still think, like, I'm just trying to think of our rotation, right? If we're running like a 10, we usually run like an 8 or a 9 man, but like,
8.
yeah, but like, what? I don't know. I still have a lot of injury concerns because not even talking about Kristaps' injury history, just talking about guys who are that goddamn tall that, like, at this point in their career, like, when was the last time you saw someone who's 7'3", 7'4", at 29 years old still being the same, you know, value player that they were 5 years ago? Better, like, even better than they were 5 years ago. It doesn't happen. It very, very rarely happens. And so I'm concerned. Like, I think what you guys are saying is true, that Marcus Smart might not be that guy for much longer. How long is Kristaps going to be that guy? Like, I think his numbers are going to take a dive just because he's playing on a team with so many mouths to feed, and he went from like a bottom feeder where he was the first option to now he's on a team that.
No, third. Oh my God, third.
Well, nah, second option.
No, not
Beal
Who's the
Kuzma.
second option?
Kuz.
No,
Kuzma's not the
Kuzma.
second.
No.
Kuzma's the third option.
No.
Kuzma's the third option. But still, he was on a team.
Kuzma's
with,
the second option now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nah, but
Wait,
No, is he?
Kristaps was
Oh,
on
he
a-
is.
Kristaps
Yeah.
was
he's
on
the
a-
first. Wait, who's the
Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is gonna put up
How
shots
are you?
whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
He's your first option.
It's a pool party.
But Kristaps was putting up 24 on a really bad team that didn't have much talent outside the top 3 guys. And now he's on a team that's very deep,
Yeah,
that has
James
a lot of
Johnson.
options. So his numbers are going to take a dive. That's cool. It's just, I'm not worried about his numbers taking a dive. I'm worried about his value as a player, his durability, his energy. Is he going to give you 35, 30 minutes a game? Or is he going to have to get knocked down in the next couple of years? Because we already gave him an extension. And also, I still think we would be wise to invest in a young big to play behind, because we have 3 players to rotate between the 4 and the 5. We have Kristaps, we have Al Horford, we have Rob Williams. All 3 are injured often enough. Al, not so much, but he's getting older. He will be. That's just the reality.
Al just needs rest.
Rob Williams, we know, is hurt all the time. Kristaps, again, 7'3", 29 years old, plays the 5. Has had injuries in the past. He was healthy enough last year, but we'll see. We would be, in order for the Kristaps move for me to feel I guess vindicated or safe with the team that we have, we need a quality big to play behind those guys just in case. On a normal night when everybody's healthy, we can give that guy 20 minutes a game, whatever. But we need a guy there just to make sure that the team doesn't fucking fall to shit if we if our guys go down. And we still need Jesus Christ. We still need a backup wing.
Nope.
Hold on.
O'Shea Brissett.
I was gonna say the one thing that I have to say is I think you're right. I think you're totally right. We definitely need another backup big. But I like what the Celtics have done as far as filling out the rest of the backup spots because our guard depth is still solid even though we traded away Marcus. We picked up O'Shea Brissett and we drafted Jordan Walsh.
Solid.
So that's a solid wing rotation for the bench. I think we're only really lacking a backup big.
Jordan Walsh, I would much rather see Jordan Walsh get minutes than O'Shea Brissett.
O'Shea Brissett's solid.
O'Shea Brissett is solid.
He can score.
Solid as O'Shea Brissett.
Solid
He
enough.
scored 27 on us a couple years ago.
Here, let me look at the numbers.
I use his jump shot in 2K, but he's a nice jumper. Smooth.
Yeah, I use the same jump shot.
Maybe I'm ignorant about O'Shea Brissett too.
He's got a nice base.
Last season in Indiana, 17 minutes, 6 points. He was behind Neesmith and
Dude.
Buddy Hield. He was behind Buddy Hield and Neesmith.
6 points, 3 rebounds, half a steal, half an assist on 46% from the field. 30. He's a little inefficient for sure. 31 from 3.
He's streaky.
All due respect.
16% usage rate. I don't mind it.
If we're gonna be a championship team, our wing depth cannot be a second-round rookie and a guy who's putting up 6 points behind Aaron fucking Neesmith.
No, also Buddy Hield. Also Buddy Hield.
Nice.
Also Buddy
Buddy
Hield.
Hield, too.
Keep that in mind. He's playing third stringer-ish. He's only playing 15 minutes a game.
Dude,
When he was
that's
on
not
Toronto, he was scoring a little bit.
I'm sorry, that's just again, if we're considering our championship window to be now until 5 years from now, O'Shea Brissett's not cutting it, dude. I need another. I want either Jordan Walsh takes the next step in his offensive game, gets good quick, or we need someone.
Sam Hauser.
I will say this: before they picked up Aaron Neesmith,
I would not be upset at
He
Sam.
gives you 3 balls.
before they picked up Aaron Neesmith, in 23 minutes he was getting 10 points. He was getting 10 points, 5 boards. So if we give him the minutes, he can put up 10 points, 5 boards for us.
Yeah.
He's a solid
Definitely
pick.
want to see him be more efficient, though.
Jordan Walsh, another depth piece. We still have Brogdon. J.D. Davidson. Apparently he's 6'8" now.
That's
No
not true.
way.
No,
I heard he's 6'8".
that's not true.
Fun dude also. Fun dude.
Oh yeah, we do have Mafundo.
Don't give him a fun dude.
JD Davison is not 6'8".
There's no way he's 6'8". He's like
He's
6
just
like 2
not.
or something.
He's like
There's no
6'3".
way- There's no way he went from being built like Chris Paul to built like fucking Penny Hardaway in 1 year.
Bro,
That
why
doesn't
did I hear he
happen.
was like 6'8" now?
There's no way.
Are they counting his hair? Is that like part of the measurement?
Oh, possibly.
6'8"?
We'll
I don't
see.
think his hair
Hey,
adds fucking 6
we'll see
inches
today
to-
at 3. We'll see today at 3 how tall he really is. But also, yeah, Luke Cornett we still have. We still have Blake.
Luke Cornett is not on shit.
We do have Champagne.
Blake is
We do have the other
Blake
Champagne.
like, didn't get enough minutes, but like he's still not good enough to be that like solid backup we
No,
need.
I think no. At the 4,
He's 33 and he has jumpers needs, bro. What's he gonna do?
bro, if we give him more minutes, I think he could produce a little bit more, or at least facilitate. When we saw him play with the
More
Celtics,
minutes, he's gonna break in half.
bro.
I think what we do
Snap
is,
like a fucking twig.
unless we get someone else, Cornette's like our backup center. Which
That-
sucks.
Which
No.
I don't
No,
love.
he's not.
Cornett is
No, he's
an
not.
ugly backup center to have.
For like I know, but I feel like that's what the
We do have Cavangeli still. He was proven it in the G. He was proven it in the G. Pretty sure he did some stuff with the defensive end. Great. I like him. We might run Blake at the 5. At the backup 5, they actually might run Blake.
That's worse than Cornet.
No, all right. Also, the other thing is, we have So we're all talking about we're all talking about the Dame. We're gonna talk about the Dame trade at some point, I'm sure, unless we already have. I don't know.
No, we
But-
haven't.
We already have.
I heard. Okay, there was a report, right, that after Dame said he doesn't want to go to any team other than the Heat, we were like in the conversation for that. Then we dropped out when Dame's like, I don't want to go to the Celtics.
Yeah.
There was a report that there's a contingency plan in place if Dame didn't want to trade to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Do we think what the fuck?
The contingency plan is to get a
What's going
shooter. The contingency plan is to get a shooter. They're looking at a
Do we need
sharpshooter.
Do we need one?
The only position in where we need a shooter would be like point guard. I guess.
Well,
I guess.
To be fair, like
We don't have any
I
super
would
efficient
honestly-
shooters other than
I
like
wouldn't be upset if we just got like a Seth Curry or a Joe Harris.
Seth
to
Curry's
just
already.
If we got Joe Harris, I'm shooting
Joe
myself.
Harris
Not
already
gonna
got
lie.
moved.
Seth Curry signed with the Mavs.
Well,
Joe Harris
But,
on
like,
the Cavs, right?
I'm not saying those guys specifically. I'm saying a player like that who's not gonna do shit else other than fucking shoot the ball off the bench.
Yes,
What the
yeah,
hell?
we
We
don't.
don't- Like we have
that
we
guy
have
already.
spacing and we have shooters, but we don't have a pure shooter who just comes off the bench, gives you a quick 12 points, and then so.
Honestly, I would have loved if we picked up fucking Gabe Vincent,
That would have been
Nah,
nice.
Fucking cool.
Yeah.
but the Lakers that's a nice signing for them.
Lakers had a great offseason.
They really did.
I don't know. Yeah, I also agree. We definitely do need to back up big. I wish that we could just like pick up DeMarcus Cousins. I wish I could like walk into Brad Stevens' office and be like,
Let's bring
get
Dwight Howard
Boogie,
back.
get Boogie, and then walk out.
True.
Let's bring Shaq back. Come on.
Yeah, Shaq.
You can still do
Shaq,
it.
they don't need you over at TNT. The C's
Yeah.
need you once again.
Yeah, Shaq with his hip replacement, sure.
Come get another ring. You can tie Kobe.
Fire Kendrick Perkins.
Come get another ring. You can tie Kobe.
Yeah. Oh no.
That's so nasty. On a side note, I'm so aggravated with the Celtics about the whole Gallo thing now. I'm even more aggravated because we could have just picked up Carmelo and Carmelo at least would have played. Instead, we had that man sitting on the bench for a year, gassing up.
Hey.
Oh yeah, I'm so ready for next season, and then we move him.
Nah, but listen,
It's a damn
he had some
shame.
nice fits.
That's
He was
true.
he was dressed real smooth.
Yeah, and he sat his ass on the bench, dressed real smooth. Jesus Christ.
I mean, would Melo ever have gone to the Celtics realistically? Like, would he ever?
Bro,
have-
yes.
Did he?
Yeah.
It was
I mean,
between him and
There was a
Gallo.
period. There was a period where he was just looking for someone to sign him that I think he definitely would have come. But like now, obviously, he's officially retired, so I don't think we're
Bring him out of
changing that.
retirement. Let's go.
That don't matter.
Nah, he can stay his ass in retirement now. Go focus on your kid. What were some other big moves during the free agency? Trade wise.
John Collins.
Oh,
to the
I mean,
Cavs.
the Fred Van Vliet fucking contract.
Oh
True,
god,
true.
yeah, dude. Bro,
That
the
is,
Houston
it's something.
Rockets are such a fucking poverty
Bro, why is
franchise.
Dylan Brooks getting
They
so much money
signed-
too?
They spent $213 million They could have brought the entire city of Houston completely out of poverty, but instead they spent their money on Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. That's
Dylan Brooks.
crazy. That's
Listen,
crazy.
Listen, I agree that it is a shit ton of money to be giving those two players. However, there is in the NBA, you have to spend, it's either 90 or 95% of the salary cap. You have to, or else they just take it from you. So they had money to give away, first of all. Second of all, they're already a bad team. They're looking for leadership, which I think Fred VanVleet at least will give that. They're looking for defense. Dylan Brooks will be able to instill some sort of defensive mindset into that team. I think they had the right idea with what they're doing. They definitely overpaid, but they can afford to do it because they're so young. They don't have anyone else to pay. There weren't that many great options in the free agency class that would have come to Houston thinking like, yeah, okay, we have a chance to do something here. So I think as bad as it looks, like when you just see the number attached with those players, I think it's not a terrible move.
They're also looking for a defensive-minded, in quotes, player. Because they also got rid of Kenyon Martin Jr. So he's going to replace Kenyon Martin Jr.'s spot at the 3.
All right.
Dylan Brooks, they said he was going to go to China. The Houston Rockets is like the closest you can get to China without being in the NBA.
Yeah.
Hey, remember those jerseys they used to wear?
That's true.
Yeah.
Remember when Aaron Brooks was on the team, then immediately he went to China after?
Aaron Guangdong.
Nah, but the thing is, right? All right. I have a few things to say. Dylan Brooks, right, got a 4-year deal, $20 million a year. Okay.
Crazy.
I understand that they had money to spend and they had to spend. I understand that they wanted like a defensive mindset, like a defensively minded 2-guard or a 3. He can shoot the ball kind of. He had like the worst shooting percentage in the league, I think. Like
Fred VanVleet did.
That's what I saw
actually.
among
really?
qualified
Yeah,
players.
Fred VanVleet did.
Yeah, Fred
Oh my
VanVleet
God.
and Dylan Brooks had the 2 worst shooting percentages of anybody in the whole fucking league. Like,
Bro, Jalen Green's got to be up there too.
like I'm not mad at what they did. Like Ben, like you said, I think they had the right idea. I think they picked the 2 wrong guys. I think Fred VanVleet's closer to not being wrong because he's proved like he can be a winner. Like he won.
Who?
He can give you 20 points and he
Fred
can
VanVleet.
facilitate the ball and he can.
Bro, we're not counting that. No, I'm not counting that as a winner.
Yeah,
Him playing backup? He was playing backup. Let's not lie.
But let's not forget that he was an all-star too, like a couple years ago.
Yeah,
We're not gonna also
Uh.
count that. Kawhi didn't do it himself.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry,
That was a really
Pascal
solid team that
Siakam.
Kawhi went to.
Yeah, fucking Fred VanVleet was the 2.
He was playing back.
No, they did play together a lot of the time.
Yeah, he was playing 30 minutes a game. He was part of the closing lineup for that team.
He's getting minutes.
Like I think Fred VanVleet's a fine player. I don't think he got more money than Kyrie. Kyrie got 3 years, 123 mil. Fred VanVleet got 3 years, 130. That's fucking stupid. I don't care. I know Kyrie, like at this point in his career, whatever you want to say about Kyrie, that's cool. He's not worth less than Fred fucking VanVleet, dude. I'm sorry, he's not. And like Dylan Brooks, you did not need to lock him up for 4 years, bro. You didn't. Like, I understand you had the money to spend, but you're going to have to pay all these young guys fucking 2 years from now, and you're not going to have the money because it's going to be in fucking Dylan Brooks' bank account. Like, he's not that goddamn good. He's not. And if you wanted to instill, like, okay, the thing with the Houston Rockets...
No, bro. Timeout. We're not gassing up Fred VanVleet like he wasn't playing 30 minutes and averaging 11 points. I'm sorry. I got to nip that in the bud. We're not calling him a superstar for that. I'm not calling him a superstar because in his all-star. I'm not doing that, bro. Y'all were gassing him up like he was a vital part of the role. That man played 30 minutes and averaged 11 points.
He was a 2-way player.
He was providing a lot on the defensive end.
Really solid defender for his size.
Yeah, he's quick.
And he can facilitate. And
he got a steal. One steal. He couldn't get 5 assists.
He did what he had to do to fucking bring the championship there. If he wasn't there, then fucking Someone else would have filled the role. But
You know who brought that championship? Kawhi.
Calderon.
He was there. I don't fucking.
Let's fucking just.
I'm sorry. I had to nip that one in the bud.
So I just have a couple things to say. First of all,
Jesus
the thing
Christ.
about Kyrie, though it is crazy that he is making more than Kyrie.
He is?
I think Kyrie's at a point in his career where he knows that he's like a lot of people, he's like a problem child of some sort as soon as you bring him in. But also, I don't think he cares about how much money he's getting at this point. I think Kyrie wants to win. And so
he picked Dallas.
He picked Luka.
But
He
the
picked
reason,
Luka.
the reason he would take less money is so that they can bring in more talent around the team that they have.
Very true. Very true.
So I think Kyrie took less money than he could have gotten,
Guys.
for sure. Second of all, I think that I forgot my second point.
We're talking also. I just want to say we're talking about $4 million less.
No, I remembered. So we also have to account for the fact that in a couple of years, these deals are not going to look as crazy. Because if you look at the way that the inflation everywhere, including the NBA contracts, the amount of money players are going to be getting in the next couple off seasons, it's gonna even outshoot what we got this year from them.
You know what they said the same exact thing about? Chandler fucking Parsons, dude.
Yeah, but Chandler Parsons is
I get
He got injured though.
That was 10 years ago.
Deals won't be that bad. But at the same time, you can't use that as your sole justification for getting shit players for too much money.
Chandler Parsons was making $10 million for playing like golf and being injured.
You got 4 years, 72.
Y'all know Luol Deng's still getting paid?
I believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like I think the Rockets didn't do as poorly as people are saying. I think they had the right idea. They signed people that kind of fit with that idea. Did they overpay? Yes, slightly, a little bit. But they had to spend the money. They're going to get something out of these players, at least. For all we know, Fred VanVleet could return to his all-star form. I think that what the Raptors had him doing last season is kind of what, like, the way that they needed him to play caused the inefficiency. And I think that can change very, very quickly. I think he can return to who he was just a few seasons ago very easily, because they were looking for Fred VanVleet to create everything for that offense in the Raptors, and I think they'd rather have them like him facilitating for the rest of the team going forward. So
also, my last thing to say about the Rockets, and then we can move on. I don't care. Everybody, like, you remember what Eric Gordon said like midway through last year?
No.
Where people were like, "Oh, has like the improvement like come along as you thought it would?" And he's like, "There's nobody wants to improve." The biggest problem with the Rockets, there's many of them, but the biggest one is that nobody on that team wants to play winning basketball. They want to play fun basketball, right? Because you got Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green, who just go out there and fucking make their highlight mixtapes and then go home. They'll drop 50 one night, and it'll be the quietest 50 you've ever fucking seen. If you want to instill a winning mindset in a basketball team, the last player you want to sign is Dylan fucking Brooks. The last player.
But that's not what they're looking for.
Bro, they're looking for a veteran. They're looking for a veteran, a locker room head.
The winning mindset is coming from Fred VanVleet.
I understand that, but you can't just bring Dylan Brooks and have him only bring the good parts of Dylan Brooks. When you sign a player, you sign that whole player.
Bro.
That's with every transaction. You bring in the player in their entirety, the good and the bad, and you got to deal with it. That's why teams usually sign players for their strengths and already have things in place to mitigate their weaknesses.
Like
with Kristaps, we have enough shooting, so if he goes down, we're not going to lose that much spacing. Like, we bring in things that mitigate weaknesses. Houston doesn't have shit to mitigate the fact that Dylan Brooks is a loser. He's a more of that. He's gonna
Yeah,
build
hey,
on that with
hey,
you. He's not gonna change
let's
his
really
whole
talk about
fucking outlook on life in 1 year.
He
Just
might.
because he's with Fred Van Vliet.
No, let's talk about
Like
it.
you was saying, was not a fucking vital part.
Let's
Like
really
he was
talk about
there,
it.
he did a lot, he was good.
Let's really talk
And
about
like
it.
again, my take earlier was Fred Van Vliet did play a role. He did play that role, and he was really good in it. But he was not the fucking sole like proprietor of that. He was not the fucking engine that drove that Raptors team.
She's a
But
cover
then are you making
athlete.
the are you then making the argument that there can't be changes in Dylan Brooks or
I'm not
all of the
arguing.
other players
No, I'm
because
not arguing that there
I think
can't be
Fred Van
change.
Vliet, even though he
I'm-
may not have been the vital part the heart and soul of that team, he was a big part of that team. And that's even if he didn't put up crazy numbers, like Hugh brought up, he didn't put up great numbers. What you eye test tells you something different than the numbers do sometimes. And I think from the eye test, we saw that Fred Van Vliet was doing a lot more for that team than his numbers were showing.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'm not saying I agree that Fred Van Vliet. And again, my take earlier, I'm not gonna be hypocritical about it. I know Fred Van Vliet did a lot for that team. I'm not disputing. What I'm saying is, it might just be asking way too much of him to change the entire culture of an organization. Because as anybody around the league will tell you, that Rocket team is full of plenty of talent but no direction. And I don't think Fred Van Vliet can do that by himself. And it's not helping him the fact that you're bringing in Dylan Brooks, who again, I'm not saying he can't change. I'm not going to make that argument. Everybody can change. Not even talking about basketball. That's just the thing that happens. People change, people grow. That's cool. He's not going to do it in one summer. And
But
it's about changing. I don't know. It's Dylan.
I don't.
Can I make a point?
I just.
I'm in between both
Fine.
y'all. At the same time, this is such a. Oh my god. Okay. You're undervaluing Dylan Brooks. And
Yeah,
Dylan Brooks. And
I think he's a
Ben,
bum.
you're
I
overvaluing
fucking
him.
hate him.
Let's be
I'm
honest.
not. Oh,
The Rockets aren't trying to win
I know-
immediately. They're in a rebuilding process. The reason they have Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet is for veteran talent. Veteran talent, quote unquote. At the end of the day, Dylan Brooks is going to bring some structure to Houston. That's what Houston needs the most. Not defense, not the whatever. They need structure. And what Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet both know really well, give or take whatever they play, they know structure really well. That's why they're there. It's not about their skill, it's not about their talent, it's about structure. Because you brought it up earlier, Rocco, they're playing ISO ball. It's 48 minutes of watching Jabari Smith Jr. or Kevin Porter Jr. or Jalen Green play ISO ball. They don't play as a unit. The reason those pieces are there is to get facilitating and get people play like units. That's what it is.
I'm also just gonna say I'm not trying to make the argument that they're going to change the entire culture right away in one season. I'm just saying that this gives them the they're gonna make a step in the right direction of actually having some sort of culture. I don't anticipate the Rockets in any way to be a very a good team. I think they're gonna be bad still. But we're gonna see a change where it's not all just iso ball chucking shots. I think they're gonna actually run an offense and start trusting in each other, even if they're not winning basketball games. We're going to see a change. Is all I'm making the argument that Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks to some extent are going to be able to start that movement towards having a culture.
Yeah, because even if Fred VanVleet wasn't the main focal point on that Toronto team, he knows what a winning championship team should look like, and he can bring that to a team that literally is just all these 22-year-olds that don't know anything about anything, and he can bring that kind of culture to Houston, even if he wasn't the main focal point of the championship.
And again, I'm not disputing that those guys. I'm not disputing that there will be an improvement and that there will be some sort of structure. I think it's a step in the right direction. My entire case is not that those guys won't do that. It's simply that if that's what you're looking for, you could have found better. You could have gotten that from other sources. I don't think Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet are the best guys for that job. I'm not saying that they can't do something. I'm not saying that they can't make a positive change. I don't think it's the best fit. I don't think those are like. I think they could do better.
And I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, I would like looking at the free agency class. There weren't many options, and you've got to take what you can get, especially since you have to spend that money. So, I don't think they did the worst job they could have done. I think it's okay. It's a step in the right direction. It's an overpay, but it's whatever because it's a young team, and you're not going to have to pay anyone for a few years.
Yeah.
My bad, guys. I had to piss so bad.
Fire argument
Yeah,
between
let's
me
talk
and
about
Rocco
Dame
for
Lillard.
fucking 20 minutes.
That was bad.
Can we get a time check? How long we've been here?
Minute, an hour 20. Right, an hour 20.
Jesus Christ. We may have to do another episode soon because I don't know. I feel like there's probably more. We didn't even talk about Dame yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really?
Can we talk about Dame for a second? Can I start? Because I hate when NBA players get on their high horse and they act like it's all about them. It's a trade. It's a trade. You're being traded. You don't get to choose where you go. That's not how it works. It's not like you're signing with it. You're getting traded. I'm sick of him making these demands to a basketball team like they don't have a job to do as well. Their main priority isn't him. And every time I see in the headlines that, oh, I need this and I need that, they don't care. They don't care because they have their own job to do. They're trying to be a successful NBA team. How is it successful to them if Dame gets traded to the Heat? It's not, because at the same time, they want Blazers want such and such, but Dame's going to Miami to go play with Bam and Jimmy. But they want two great players. If you get rid of Bam or Jimmy, Dame's there for no reason. You got to compromise with the team. And if I don't see him getting traded to the team he wants, or if he does, it's not happening now. And that's me being realistic. Because him and his management are asking for so much, but at the same time, with the caliber level player he is, it's not realistic without either going superstar for superstar 1-1 or getting rid of a bunch of great players. And by that point, why would you want to be on the team? Because if I'm going superstar for superstar, but at the same time I'm joining the team to be with that superstar, there's no point. And if I'm getting rid of a bunch of great players, then it's gonna be two players and no depth. So I hate when NBA players try to, like, they don't understand that it's also a business for the team. Compromise with the team. They were great to you for 11 years, 10 years. Compromise with the team. He's doing all this extra shit, and it's annoying, and I hate seeing it. Yeah. Yep.
I think being great is a stretch a little bit. They never
Okay.
got him any help.
They were good. They were
Other than,
good.
like, Jeremy Grant. Well, they had like CJ, but like no actual help that could like, oh, this team could win a championship.
What the fuck am I done by?
And they were just like,
No.
they were seeing him get better, and they just weren't supporting. But I do agree with you that once like he's traded, he's not Portland's problem. They shouldn't have to send him wherever he wants, because once he's off the roster, like, oh, it's this other team's problem. Be freaking sad there. Like, if he wants to go to Miami, great, but they're not gonna like make him go to Miami. They're gonna trade him to wherever they want to trade him.
Where I promise you I'm an NBA team, I'm not catering to a player. I promise you I'm not.
Yeah.
If I'm a GM, I'm not catering to that player that I'm about to get rid of.
I know what you guys are saying, and I understand it. However, I think it's just got to be kind of a mutual respect thing. Like, you both have to understand that it's a business, first of all, but also that the organization has to understand this is a star player that you've had for years and years that's given everything he could to the city. And so, like, you have to, like, to some extent, you have to look out for his needs, even if you may get a little less. But, like, it has to be a balance. It has to be, like, Dame has to understand the team's not going to just trade you away for nothing. But the team has to understand, like, this guy gave you guys so much for so long that like he deserves like a little bit of like something like. But I think Dame in this particular scenario is kind of like in the wrong because like he gave them one option like to go to. Like if there were multiple options, like I could see Portland being like, okay, we can like figure something out with one of these teams probably. But with one option being the Miami Heat, who don't have many assets other than like players, it's like it puts the organization in a tough spot because like they obviously they would want to do right by him if they could in the scenario given, but I don't think it's possible well without giving up insane amount of value, and so I think they both need to give a little bit.
Yeah, I personally, I mostly agree with Ben. I think like Q, when you're talking about Dame like making it all about him, I get what you're saying and I do understand that, and it does have to be like a give and take, and it is a business. That's cool. However, it being all about Dame is Portland's problem because they made it all about Dame for 11 years and again, didn't surround him with help, didn't give him the team that he was asking for, and they brought this on themselves because people have been saying for years that Dame should try to get out of Portland, and he never has, and he's always conceded, and he's always given Portland like the benefit of the doubt of, okay, I'll stay for another 4 years, I'll sign a contract, just help me, and they never ever have. And like Ben was saying, he's given so much to this organization, so much to this team. He brought winning back to Portland, not winning titles or anything, but he brought winning basketball, fun, entertaining basketball back to Portland, which is not something they had had since 2001. And
Brandon Roy.
well, that was also the same time Dame was
Brandon
on the
Roy.
league. And also Brandon Roy was there for like 2 years before he like blew his shit out. But I think Dame, like, I think he's a little bit in the wrong to again just give him one option and just like, this is where I'm going, figure it out. Like, that's not great, but at the same time, he deserves to go out on his own terms. He's done everything for that team, and it's a business for the organization, yeah, and they don't have an obligation to him because he doesn't have a no trade clause, yeah, but at the same time, it's a business for Dame. He's got to go somewhere where it's going to be worth it for him and his career. And after giving so much to this organization over so many years, he deserves the right to be able to set himself up for the future. That's
that
just
motherfucker
my
has to
opinion.
see.
I think
True,
Portland's brought this on themselves, and he deserves to
bro.
have leeway.
You get leeway in free agency when you decide whether or not to sign with the team. You have to be able to give. You can't say I'm going here, make it happen for a trade. You get your leeway when the offseason comes and you have the decision to come back on whether or not you want to come back. That's when you get leeway.
Yeah,
The
but it's
thing
like
is,
an
There is a limited,
appreciation thing.
bro. There's a
It's like
limited
an
amount the
appreciation
Trailblazers
thing.
can do.
Like I agree that like it's not right for him to give one team and say like this is where I'm going. But if you give like a like five teams, a list of 5 teams that like I'd be okay going here. Like out of the appreciation for what he did for the organization, it would be right for them to send him to one of those teams,
Yes, and I think they would.
even if they
However,
lose
he's
some of
giving
that.
one team.
Yeah, one team's crazy.
Like, so Portland's giving their thing of they want back 2 solid players and some picks. Dame saying I want to go to this one team. Dame needs to give some give. If Portland's not disagreeing. Portland's not saying, "Oh no, we were going to keep you." Portland's saying, "Okay, we understand, but give us more leeway." Portland's less than the wrong you guys are saying because Portland wants to make it happen. They understand, whatever. Dame's being hard to work with. There's a limited amount that the Portland Trailblazers can do, realistically. With that one team option, there's a limited amount they could do. They just need more leeway. That's what I think it is, personally.
again, like, well, think about it this way, right? If Dame leaves in free agency, what does Portland get? Nothing. They get no value. Like Dame, the fact that Dame's not just dipping out in free agency and saying after this contract I'm done, I don't care. Like it's not like Portland's gonna win with Dame in the next 2 years because their core's not ready yet. Their championship window's not going to open until Dame's well out of his prime. So realistically, there is no better option for the Portland Trailblazers than to trade Dame. And yeah, it's unreasonable that he's given them only one team to do that with, but he's also giving you more than, you know, like he's giving you more than if he just left in free agency or if he just, fucking phoned it in for the next few years until he could leave. Like he's at least he's giving them something. He's like, I want you guys to get value for me, but I also want my due respect because I've given you the last 10 years of my life and my career. And, I honestly, I'm not saying Portland's in the wrong because, again, they're trying to do everything they can. And I don't think they've done anything wrong to this point. But I also don't think Dame's that much in the wrong. Like, I don't really see it. Like, I see why people think that. But me personally, I just disagree. I think Dame's doing the best thing for his career, and you can't blame him for that.
Ooh. Celtics Summer League game just started.
Yeah.
This is interesting. We're also gonna have to wrap this up soon because I need to watch this game.
With all that being said, I think we should wrap now probably because we probably tired out the conversation about Dame for now.
Y'all wanna chat about the WNBA league?
I can't. Man.
I'm not gonna lie. I'll say this one thing. I just watched the first half of basketball throughout like the whole podcast. Like I was watching it and off. I've never seen a lower scoring half. It ended like 37-34 at halftime. Second point. Sabrina Ionescu is a 2024 2K cover for the women. Why?
She's putting up 14.9 points a game.
Bro, she's as inefficient as freaking Fred VanVleet, dog.
Yeah,
she's putting up 15, 6, and 5 with 1 steal a game.
I don't care. She's inefficient. She's supposed to be Kobe.
My fantasy team right now, okay?
Oh yeah, for those who don't know, we have a crazy
top 5 WNBA players in the league on my fantasy team.
I got a bad pick. I don't want to hear it. I had the 8th pick or the 6th pick. I had the 6th pick or something like that.
Listen, I drafted one of the top.
Nafisa Collier should be on the cover. She's a beast.
I drafted one of the top. I drafted one of the top 5 players in the WNBA with the 16th pick. Q. Come on.
On a side note, anybody who watches the Celtics Summer League game, if we're not gonna gas this because they're not playing with Jamie Jaquez, so I don't want to hear anything. If anything, it's sad if we lose this. That's what I'll say about it.
I don't think any of the summer league shit really matters.
It doesn't. The fucking Kings.
We thought fucking Kevin Knox was gonna be a star after summer league, so.
We thought Kuzma was gonna be the next fucking LeBron.
Dude, I know he wasn't after that draft.
Kuzma's solid.
Kuzma's been good.
Is Caron Butler coaching? Caron Butler's coaching.
We gotta go. This shit's
I gotta go. We gotta go, guys. I can't.
Fortnite draft suit.
Fortnite draft suit. Patreon, like, comment, subscribe. $5 Patreon, 1 video a month.
I love this long ass episode.
I love you, Grant Williams.
Yeah, if you're here at the end of these episodes, shout out you. I don't know how y'all get through it.
I gotta go. I gotta fucking eat. I haven't eaten lunch, so it's 3 p.m. 3:10. I haven't eaten lunch.
All right, later, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Later.